Rogers Park's pretty cool until the sun go down. You gotta watch it back. Put them kids in bed.
All of the crime, it doesn't happen all the time. But no matter where you live, where you go, there's always going to be crime. It's not like Rogers Park is a really bad place to live, because it's not. It's a great place to live. I feel very safe walking down the street 3 and 4 in the morning time, by myself. And, so that's one of the stereotypes that we would really like to get rid of.
Well, I think that Rogers Park has had a long history of being known as not a very safe neighborhood. Perhaps that was true at one time. I think that the neighborhood has definitely improved in safety, and also just in the quality of housing and services and entertainment outlets and that sort of thing. I think sometimes people hang on to an older view of Rogers Park from maybe the 1980s or so, when it did not have a very when it was perceived to be not a very safe or middle class.
This community has been developed, but it's not developed in the sense of gentrification. It's developed in the sense of the people who live here will have better housing to live in. For the last 25, 30 years, it's been a hub for immigrants from Africa, from the Ivory Coast, from Trinidad, Asian community. We have a pretty decent-sized Asian community. In past years, it was a community laden with social service agencies because of that reason, because it was a hub for immigrants. But to date, it's kind of changed. A lot of condos have been built. A lot of community redevelopment is happening.
The parking is it's crowded. I guess you can say it's bad. We need more space. Even if we don't have more spaces, at least lighten up on the rules, where you can park and where you can't park.
Well, they need to do something about the gangs and the drug problems that's here. And I think they need to leave homeless people alone. They have a problem. I go to the beach all the time, and I know a lot of the homeless people out there, and they seem to have a predilection of abusing them, of bothering them, and they're just out there just trying to survive, There's nowhere for them to go, and so they congregate in the park, and the majority of them, they don't bother the people, They need to have a shelter here for them, and they need to get the kids off the corners, because they have a tendency to abuse the elderly.
This is the best place I've ever lived, so.